The following is presented by the Computer History Archives Project.
Okay, Frank, you ready?
Anytime. Yeah. Okay.
Roll sound. Speed. Roll camera.
Sticks.
RCA, scene one, take one.
Did you ever wonder what your future will look like? How about trying this future on for size? Until now, computer advances have been made and measured in terms of what the computer could do for itself. Now we are in a decade of difference, a decade of what the computer can do for you. RCA has created the difference. We had to, because our man at the top, Mr. Robert Sarnoff, means business when he says RCA computers are going to be #2 in the industry, with 10% of the market by 1975. Well, we decided to work things out a new way. We realized that the answer was not just to build a newer, better computer that could do a lot more. The answer was to innovate, to build a computer the way the customer wanted it done. How did we go about it? First, we got out of the computer ivory tower in order to find out what you, the customer, really wanted, not what the computers needed. And then we surveyed a small army of computer users, the guys at the top. What did we learn? That they had a lot of beefs, a lot of wants. And that was the grist for our mill. Finally, RCA put a lot of high-priced heads together to decide what the decade of the 70s will need from RCA. And this is it, a decade of difference. A decade when a customer will find RCA easy to do business with. A decade when RCA will introduce 4 new computers with the cost performance you asked for. A decade that brings a real difference, guaranteed conversion from your present IBM System 360. A decade that brings you a major advance in virtual memory, RCA's biggest baby. A decade that will see communications become an integral part of over 50% of all computer systems. And we've got the edge on that because communications is RCA's middle name. Okay, that's the decade of difference. So what's new, Pussycat? Let's see how different we really are. For instance, how can RCA be easier to do business with? Well, we've got a contract plan like nobody ever dreamed of. You can have us bundled or unbundled, almost any way you want. We're the only major manufacturer that gives you a choice. When you lease or buy an RCA computer, the choice is yours. You can provide your own system support and reduce equipment costs by 3%, or RCA will step in and give you the people and time to help you make all systems A-OK. No legal tricks either. It's all honest and simple. So simple, in fact, our contract is only 1 page long. RCA has another idea that makes doing business easy. An idea that makes it possible for you to be happy with your system for a long, long time to come. How? Well, we let you save a lot of money on your monthly equipment payments as compared to a standard one-year lease. With an open-ended 6-year lease purchase contract, the RCA computer you like so much can become your very own at the end of 6 years. It's easy to do business that way with RCA. And it's easy to get to like that kind of savings.
Okay, take a break. Don't leave the set, please.
The 70s is a decade with another really big new difference, RCA's guaranteed conversion. Remember the headaches you had, besides cost, when you converted from second-generation systems? Well, our boys decided that shouldn't happen to you ever again.
Coffee, Frank?
Thank you, Linda. So we fixed it so we would take on what few conversion headaches there might be. And we mean few because the new RCA systems have a friendly approach to your IBM 360 systems. It's a new 360 mode of operations that runs most of your 360-30 and 360-40 DOS applications faster on the average than on their native system.
Okay, let's go, everybody. Break's over.
So friendly, in fact, that if you want to make sure you're not going to have any problem, RCA will convert for you if you qualify, and will sign a guarantee that it'll do the work. By the way, for what it's worth, the guarantee you get is signed by a $3 billion corporation. Only a company this big would dare to do it.
RCA scene 15, take 1.
RCA has a big plus in this decade of difference. Virtual memory is its name, and a virtual marvel is what it is. As time and your business progress, core memory seems to have to get bigger and bigger and bigger until the situation nearly gets out of hand. That's when RCA's virtual memory comes to the rescue. With our combination of hardware and new virtual memory operating system, relatively little memory core can handle the virtually unlimited space of a large number of simultaneous jobs. RCA virtual memory puts you in a league with the big boys without paying major league prices. But the best way to start a decade of difference is to face up to the problem that about half of all IBM computer users face. They're filled up to here with programs and jobs and have simply run out of core. In a word, they're memory bound. These 360, 30, 40, and 50 users all want to know, where do I go from here? In answer, IBM has announced huge new machines that are far beyond the power most 360, 30, 40, and 50 users need or can use. That's like asking a man with a compact car to move up to a limousine because he needs a little more room. Well, RCA is doing something different. We're starting the decade of difference with a whole new line of computers that give these people a practical place to go. We're introducing new systems to take care of the stymied small and medium-scale users. These are the machines you asked for. We'd like you to meet them now. The RCA 2, RCA 3, RCA 6, and RCA 7. It's quite a family. 4 systems that give 360, 30, 40, and 50 users in the $6,000 to $60,000 a month range a sensible new place to go. Let's look at the route some of these memory-bound 360 users can follow in the computer country of this different decade. These same roads can also be traveled by Spectra 70 users. We certainly aren't forgetting our friends. The new RCA computers are compatible with Spectra 70 as well as 360 computers. As you ride along looking at RCA's answers to your growth problem, keep an eye on the signs of cost performance of the new RCA computers and the fact every case you get more memory per dollar. And remember that while our prices and IBM's are unbundled, RCA still gives you many customer services at no charge. If you're a user of a 360/30 system with 65,000 bytes of memory, and if you're using every single bit of that memory, then you're typically paying $13,200 a month, and your processor performance power is something like 23% of a 360/50. Now, what road should you take? If you stay with the 360 line, you get the 360/40. You get double the memory, less than double the performance, and your cost goes up about $3,000 a month. The RCA road is smoother all around. With a 131K RCA2 system, you get double the 65K 360/30's memory for only $2,000 more a month. But you get a whopping triple performance. That's the direction a sensible 30 user would take. If you have the advantages of virtual memory in mind, the RCA3 comes into view. It costs you only $3,500 a month more. But virtual memory gives you what appears to be 2 million bytes for every job, from batch to communications to interactive or whatever. Elsewhere on the map, we have a 360/40 guy who's blown his gasket over his system's memory and channel bind. He has a 262K and typically pays $22,000 a month. Which fork in the road does he take to get to higher ground? If he goes route 370, he gets the 155 with 512K core, with over 8 times the performance. Can he use it? And about $13,000 more a month. Or he can stay with the 360 line and double his memory, 512K, with a system 360/50, a little more than double performance, but he's going to pay about $10,000 a month more to get it. But if this Model 40 user is watching all the signposts, he'll go to an RCA3 with a 2 million byte virtual memory for about $1,000 a month increase. The high-end 40 user with a 3-shift operation can go to an RCA6 or an RCA7 at approximately 20% less than going to a 370 155. How about that for a choice? Around another corner is the 360/50 user, typically a $25,000 to $40,000 system. The big boy with a maximum 512K memory. Well, he can go 370 155 with 50% more core and 3.5 times the performance, but $3,840 more each month. But veering into view up around the bend is the Roadrunner he can use, the RCA6 with double the performance and another 250,000 bytes of memory. And this speedster with a 786K memory actually costs $2,000 a month less than the 524K 360/50. If virtual memory is an accessory he can't drive without, how about the RCA7 with 4 million bytes of memory to race with? Only $3,400 more than he's now paying for the 524K 360/50 system. Like any map of computer country, we've only seen a bit of the scenery that RCA2, RCA3, RCA6, and RCA7 covers. They open up whole new vistas for the 360 users who are being pushed farther than they need to go. What's more, RCA will start delivering the new models in the 3rd quarter of 1971. So what's new, Pussycat? RCA has promised you a decade of difference in the direction you choose to go. And RCA will keep its promise of a decade of difference by giving you a decade of what the computer can do for you, a decade when RCA will be easy to do business with. A decade when RCA brings you guaranteed conversion. A decade that brings you advances in virtual memory. A decade when 50% of computers will have communications. A decade that starts with 4 new RCA computers that put cost performance first. So, that's what's new, Pussycat.
Okay, thanks, Frank. That's a wrap.
Yes, sir.
Now to the heart of the matter. The 4 new computers you asked for. The RCA 2, the RCA 3, the RCA 6, the RCA 7. The computers that give you more of just what you need. More memory and more usable power, but let you stay in your price bracket. RCA standard new low-cost incremental memories are used in all 4 processors. Freestanding, switchable between dual processors for backup or to balance workloads. New virtual memories, 2 million bytes in the new RCA 3, 8 million in the RCA 7. Provide seemingly unlimited capacity for local and remote batch. For concurrent interactive computing, for transaction processing, and for online programming, inquiry, reply, and information retrieval. Real memory, virtual memory, for your logical way to grow, with the right amount of extra power to increase your throughput, and matching high-speed input-output channels and high-performance peripherals, with RCA's new software that lets you work them harder, and gain more intensive use of the computer resources and power that you're paying for. These are the RCA 2, the RCA 3, the RCA 6, and the RCA 7. Oriented to big multi-programmed operations, implemented with a 1 millisecond interval timer as standard in all 4 processors, for your compatible upward growth from Spectra 7035, 7045, 7046, and 7055, from the 36025, 30, 40, and 50, and their second generation counterparts. You can get and use your new RCA computer soon, with deliveries starting in the 3rd quarter of 1971, the one you need. The RCA 2, twice the power of the Spectra 7035, 3 times the power of the 36030, 50% more than the 36040. Begins at $4,150 a month for a processor with a 65K memory. With memory expandable to 131K and 262K whenever you need more, at an effective cycle time of 720 nanoseconds per byte, 1440 per 2 bytes, with a fast memory comprising 128 registers, 120 nanosecond access time, with a read-only memory, 480 nanosecond cycle time, driving micro instructions for 145 machine instructions and emulator. You can choose 2, 3, or 4 high-speed selector channels for high-performance database, system control, and computer-to-computer input-output, ranging up to a nominal 1,000,000 bytes a second, with a standard multiplexer for 255 devices and RCA's new operator's video console, and a full range of communications and peripheral devices. The RCA 2 is easy to get to, with 145 instructions, 144 in common with Spectra 70 and System 360, with compatibility for Spectra 70 programs and files, with a System 360 mode of operations to run most of your 360-30 and 360-40 DOS applications faster on the average than on their native system, and a 1401, 1440, and 1460 emulator to move you up, and away from the 2nd generation. Plus RCA's new OS 70 operating system of the 1970s for low overhead multiprogramming with a variable number of tasks, remote job entry, and input-output spooling to disk. OS 70, the memory miser in its core residency, from the 65K RCA 2 to the 2 million byte RCA 6, disk and drum oriented for speed, with dynamic job scheduling and control, using priorities, job queuing, and job streaming, with 14 multi-program slots, each with up to 14 associated tasks. With automatic dynamic memory and direct access device allocation and expansion for intensive facilities utilization. With powerful communications capabilities ranging from basic support for customized applications to remote job entry and multi-channel communications with up to 6 concurrent user programs, including message switching with store and forward. With a full complement of languages, Assembler, Standard, and ANSI COBOL, and Fortran 4, RPG, and BAL. With multi-level cataloging and numerous facilities for system control and file security in a modular operational environment. Alternatively, your move upward from the low end of the medium-scale computer class is to the RCA 3, your low-cost entry to virtual memory computing of the future. With a 2 million byte virtual memory implemented with a 500-page backing store that lets you run more programs at the same time, larger size programs than its actual physical memory capacity. Local and remote batch, interactive, program development at the same time. More than you can do with any real memory machine in your price class. With a 131K and 262K physical memory for the throughput and response time you need. RCA 3 remains compatible with your existing real memory operations in real memory mode. With main memory, fast memory, and read-only memory operating at the same rate as RCA 2, but with 152 instructions, 7 more than RCA 2, for virtual memory functions. With real memory compatibility, Spectra 70 DOS, TOS, TDOS, and System 360 mode of operation and 1401, 1440, and 1460 emulation just as in the RCA 2, RCA 6, and RCA 7. With the virtual memory operating system for the RCA 3, you gain the most thoroughly tested and use-proven software ever for full utilization of your computer and human resources. Automated paging, memory management, and scheduling are mechanized by a 512-page translation memory for full control of 4,000 byte pages. With streamlined, easy-to-use data and database management for both the technical and non-technical user. With unrivaled facilities for interactive programming, syntax checking, debugging, pageable batch compilation, testing and modifying and documenting all under terminal control. With dynamic memory allocation to any available memory space and input-output spooling to disk for full utilization of computer resources. With Assembler, RPG, Fortran 4, Standard and ANSI COBOL, Extended Basic, and Desk Calculator, and 2 interactive Fortrans, I4 and Pi4, for programmers and problem solvers. At the upper end of the medium scale, the RCA 6, the logical upward step for heavy-duty batch and communications applications. For powerful centralized database operations, transaction-driven processing, fully exploiting the throughput power of the OS 70. The RCA 6, over 4 times the power of the 36040, twice the power of the 36050, almost 3 times the power of the Spectra 7045. Starting at $10,200 a month for a processor with a 131K memory and 2 high-speed selector channels as standard. With modular incremental memories for overtaxed computers with 262K to 524K capacity, up to 2 million bytes. Not just big low-cost memory, but switchable between dual processors. With new hardware error detection and attempted recovery through re-execution. 2 high-speed selector channels are standard, 4 to 6 optional, permitting input-output at nominal 900,000 bytes per channel, 5 million per system, including a fast multiplexer channel with trunks for RCA's new video operator's console and up to 15 other peripheral and communication subsystems with 247 devices. The RCA 6 is easy to get to from where you are now to where you want to go, with compatibility for your existing Spectra 70 applications, with a System 360 mode of operations for 360 DOS applications that it can handle, with an emulator, RCA 301, RCA 501, 1401, 1440, 1460, or 1410, 7010 for transition of your second generation applications. RCA 6 is power, with an effective main memory cycle time of 191 nanoseconds per byte, 765 nanoseconds per 4-byte word, with a read-only memory driving processor, control and emulator micro instructions at a 255 nanosecond cycle time. With a fast memory comprising 128 registers, operating at 85 nanosecond access time, with 153 instructions, 144 in common with Spectra 70 and System 360. Tops for real memory processing. Add the virtual memory electronics to an RCA 6, and it becomes an RCA 7. With RCA's new associative memory, called CAM, because it's content addressable to mechanized paging, and a 1,000-page backing store, it's an RCA 7 with an 8 million byte virtual memory, 8 blocks of 16 segments, 16 pages per segment, 4,096 bytes per page. The RCA 7's instruction set, expanded to 163 to implement virtual memory, has 144 in common with Spectra 70 and System 360. Compatibility in real memory mode as in the RCA 6, even to one emulator as in the RCA 6. The difference for the user, the virtual memory operating system for the RCA 7. Turning on with RCA 7's VMOS, doing everything VMOS in the RCA 3 does, plus multiple scheduling and paging algorithms, favoring peak demands, mainly batch, mainly interactive, or mainly transaction processing, but accommodating the other two when biased to one. Plus powerful communications, enhanced for transaction processing, inquiry reply, interactive processing, remote job entry, and data collection and dissemination, with facilities for user programs to handle message switching and store and forward, plus enhanced language capabilities, optimized compilers, optimized object programs, enhanced shareable code, unified user interface for languages, utility functions, job controls, and operator and administrator functions, including multiple consoles. You can't ask for more or get more in today's computer market. When you move up to one of RCA's new computers, you gain not only better performance, but also the industry's easiest and most assured transition for your computer evolution. RCA presents another big plus from the easy-to-do business with company. The company that has already given you a choice of bundling or unbundling. The company that has given you the flexibility of the 6-year commercial lease purchase package. And now we offer you the biggest plus of them all, a totally new concept in computer acquisition. Guaranteed conversion. What is guaranteed conversion? Just what it says. We'll contract to do the work, if you qualify, with the cost and time frame and the terms for conversion of your existing applications to your new RCA computer, set down in black and white, as mutually agreed. And you still can get the benefit of RCA's other options, which let you reduce your equipment charges. Not only guaranteed conversion, but a guarantee by the $3 billion RCA Corporation. A guarantee behind a contract that is tailor-made to your particular operations. How does it work? Let's say you're one of the large body of computer users running your data processing jobs under System 360 Disk Operating System, DOS. You want to look into the easiest way to do your business with a new RCA computer. As the first step, RCA will survey your current operations. If they qualify, we'll work out with your computer people the jobs to be done, how and where, and by when. Then we'll quote you the price and how it is to be paid. When you and RCA agree on the conversion terms, they will be spelled out in a contract, signed by us, signed by you. This enables RCA to offer you a conversion package tailored to your needs. You know what's required of you and what RCA is committed to do, as mutually agreed. RCA provides the guarantee. You don't pay us a penny for 6 months after we undertake your conversion work. Not until you can see the activity and progress. In many cases, not until your converted applications are actually running on your new RCA computer. If your conversion contract is for longer than 6 months, you begin paying on completion of each specified portion of the whole job, as we both agreed in writing. Your equipment contract with RCA spells out the hardware. You can be sure you won't end up having to pay for more in the middle of a job, unless, of course, you want more equipment for more of your own work than you had originally planned, in addition to the conversion work you contracted for with RCA. Your conversion contract spells out the time. You won't have to grant extensions of the completion date again and again. You live up to your part, we live up to ours. RCA spells out protection for you. We perform to contracted parameters or pay. If you are ready to move up from your 360 DOS batch applications, then you are a prime candidate for all the advantages of guaranteed conversion, all the big pluses that only RCA gives you. When we say we're easy to do business with, we mean business.